Do you have a cold? There's a pill for that. Do you feel depressed? There's a pill for that. Are your children misbehaving? Yes, there's even a pill for that. There seems to be a pill for just about everything. But in an age in which our food sources are being re-engineered and genetically manipulated in laboratories, and in which the pharmaceuticals of modern medicine are too often the result of corporate priorities and political outcomes, many are beginning to wonder if somewhere along the way we've gotten off track on the question of health, and perhaps we've forgotten some of the basics. And that is why so many are looking to a world that had for so long been forgotten. From environmentalists to corporate America, to government agencies engaged in medical research, the rainforest of the Amazon is getting new attention. Some have described it as the lungs of our planet. Thanks to its rich, vast biodiversity, the continuous recycling of carbon dioxide by the Amazon plant kingdom produces 20% of the world's fresh oxygen. But the Amazon is also a living medical cabinet, one containing thousands of species of flora, at least some of which have providentially directed properties beneficial to the health of man. And with 2/3 of the world's plant species found in the Amazon, there's a new question on the table. Could it be that the greatest treasure yet to be found from this lost world is in the chemical composition of its plant kingdom? One of the great problems with the false religious worldview of environmentalism is its tendency to glorify all things tribal. And so we shouldn't be surprised that a religious worldview that views man as a plague of carbon footprints would also consider advanced technology, civilization, even medical research as being problematic. On the other hand, our often politicized medical research machine has until recently basically ignored much of the information accumulated over generations of research and study by people living in the Amazon about the helpful properties of plants. And that's why the Into the Amazon expedition hit the streets and the rainforest of Peru to better understand the controversies of the mystery of the plants of the Amazon rainforest. Our journey begins in the city of Iquitos with one of the ironies of South America, a strange and unusual plant from the rainforest that would influence the lives of millions of Americans living in the cities, the rubber tree. Once a quiet tribal community, Iquitos turned into one of the wealthiest cities of its day when European businessmen arrived for one of the greatest financial booms of the modern world, the rubber boom.
First thing you know, sort a giant meat grinder chews the rubber, softens it, gets it ready for processing.
In 1839, Charles Goodyear discovered that by combining rubber with sulfur, he could perfect a vulcanization process that would make rubber flexible, elastic, and helpful in any environment. This revolutionized technology for the modern world, allowing for many new uses, including tires.
There she was, looking like a donut.
It was these trees that brought Western industrialists down to South America to build cities like Iquitos, where they would hack away at the tree. Actually, much the same way we get maple syrup. They'd cut into them, and then they would drain the rubber that would come down. And this is actually rubber fluid. They'd fill it up, ship it to the West, and companies like Goodyear were built down here in the Peruvian Amazon. Here's what it looks like here. There's a little boat up. Tastes like rubber. Tastes like chicken. Here's what we found out. I put this on here. Right now it looks like it's nice and smooth, and in just a minute it's going to turn into rubber. It's going to turn hard and rubbery. I'm going to have to pull it off. It's probably going to take the hair of my skin off as it dries. But ultimately the rubber boom died because they found out that you need a certain amount of space in between the trees. The Peruvian area has pests which take out the rubber trees, and it was actually easier to grow the trees and to plant them closer together so you could have a better crop overseas than it was here. So many of the industrialists ultimately left South America. They planted their crops in other nations, and the rubber business waned in Peru. It's hard to believe that a little solution like this, the sap of a tree, the rubber tree, could change the lives of millions of people. For some it brought enslavement, for others it brought prosperity. But for Westerners, it meant tires and wheels. It meant the transformation of society from the old world into the new world because of this tree down here in the Peruvian Amazon. During the rubber boom, the Amazon was still a vast, unexplored jungle filled with headhunters and cannibalistic tribes. To penetrate the riverways of the rainforest and to collect rubber, special vessels were developed, like our boat, the 1906 steamer, the Ayapua. At 33 meters in length, this majestic and beautifully restored ship is true to its original features. From the magnificent helm, to the customized decks, the vintage stern, and the stately dining room where our team met for prayers, Bible studies, meals, and evening events. Every square inch of the Ayapua has an unspoken story about the life of the Amazon. The Ayapua was the perfect vessel for our hazardous journey. And so from the Ayapua, we launched into the rainforest to study the strange and exotic plants of the Amazon. The density of the plant life in the Amazon is unparalleled on the planet. 1 hectare, or 2.47 acres, may contain over 750 types of trees and 1,500 species of plants. Walking through the rainforest, one thing is evident. The canopy is incredibly dense. In fact, the rainforest canopy is so dense that it takes a raindrop about 10 minutes to reach the ground. In America, when we think of enormous trees, we think of redwoods, we think of sequoias, we think of trees that have a base of 15, 20, 30 feet. But this tree has a base very similar size. Here's the difference. A tree like this in America, if you were thinking of a sequoia, would take hundreds of years, thousands of years to grow to its size. It's a very different story here in the Amazon rainforest. This particular tree has grown to the enormous height of about 150 feet in the span of just 40 years. Now think about the implications of that for the reforestation of the Amazon. Environmentalists tell us that when you cut down a tree, you destroy the Amazon, you destroy the biosphere for the whole world. The fact of the matter is God has designed this particular environment such that it is constantly replenishing itself, and it's doing so at an incredibly rapid rate of speed. That's one of the reasons why archaeologists and others that are trying to preserve things that they find, remnants of ancient civilizations, have a very hard time doing it here in Peru. The ferns, the trees, they grow so incredibly fast that no sooner have you uncovered something than it's covered up again in a short period of time. We need to think about the implications of this for the claims of the environmental movement. In a place like the Amazon, you can cut down a tree like this, it's going to grow right back up within 30, 40 years, faster than anything we see in the United States of America. These trees are absolutely amazing. They have root lines that go out hundreds of yards that are above ground. I want to demonstrate this for you. I've asked my friends to stake them out for me, and we're going to trace it. Well, come with me. Let me show you just how far this goes. Okay, so here is one of the tree roots. But notice this. You walk over here. Tree root. Tree root right here. It's still going. Tree root right here. Still going. Right here. Still going. I'm still going. A giant log, but it's the root of the tree. I'm going to navigate over here. Here we are again. We're now at least 100 feet away from where the tree is, and here's the root, and it's still going. Here it is, still going. Look over here, watch this. Incredible, it's amazing, it's still going. I'm 200 feet away from the tree, and the root is still above line here. This is it here. See right here? And this part's covered up. But I can feel it here, here. I don't know how far it goes because at this point it's submerging underneath the ground. It's covered by the leaves. But I cannot see the tree where we began because the forest is so dense. And yet its root has extended out here easy 100 yards. No problem. Easily 100 yards. That is absolutely amazing. This is just one of the roots. There are a dozen of them going in different directions. Now that you can see how complex this biosphere is, you have at the 3 different levels, the ground level, the medium level,
the treetop level, all different types of life interacting with each other, on top of each other. It's one of the most complex biological environments anywhere in the world. It's beautiful to see, but this is amazing. This is amazing. 100 yards of tree root at least. Nothing goes to waste in the Amazon. This vine here, you can drink the water from it. If you're thirsty, hack it off and look at all the water that's coming out. It's pure water. It tastes wonderful. This is the cat claw. The bark is used for medicine, the vine for drinking water, and it's really plenteous. It's collecting it obviously up there and passing it down to the vine. Look at that. Just a steady flow. Water in the Amazon. This is the friend of explorers and adventurers.
Christianity necessitates dominion, and dominion necessitates research, investigation, scientific analysis, and appreciation for the fact that God has given us every aspect of creation to better understand His mind, not only for how the world works, but for how the world can benefit man as we seek to overcome the negative consequences of the curse. This process of dominion-oriented investigation and research is informed by the Word of God itself and helps us to understand more the love of God for His people and His common grace spread out to all the nations. The biodiversity here in the Amazon is stunning. Every square foot brings with it different life. Insect life, bird life, reptiles. We haven't seen any mammals yet on this particular trek. But the diversity of trees and plants is phenomenal. And this is one reason why South America, many people believe, is going to be the future of herbal remedies and medicines. We have yet to fully uncover all of the type of plant life with its potential uses which abound here in the Amazon, but it's incredibly diverse. One of the things that Western civilization has lost is really an understanding of the environment that's around them, the plants and the trees. And one of the wonders of traveling to the Amazon is discovering all the local remedies for medicinal needs and purposes and problems that may come up. So we came across this tree here, and there are slash marks all over the tree, big ones. You can see them. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, one here. This is really fascinating. We just was with a man. He showed us his hernia. He had horrible results really from hernia surgery that took place 14 years ago that he's been living with. So our assumption is he's come out here, he's cutting out pieces of the tree, he's taking the resin, and he's applying it to himself. But Dr. Jim and Dr. Ford, the idea of applying something externally to a hernia, this is unusual by normal allopathic standards, correct? So what possible theories do we have for the benefits of this resin on hernia? Tom, do you have any ideas about that?
I was thinking it seems like an anti-inflammatory. There might be another use for it. That's why I have a question to use something else. Just the fact that it's used, I kind of get Ben's question. But we use often transdermal patches where something goes through the skin to keep it local and not just then throughout the whole body like we take a pill. So it may work something like that, just help with inflammation or pain. Pain patches is something else.
So I take it and then I'm going to get some, oh, look. Okay, so look, here's the sap. Here's the sap. Should I taste it? Okay. Here's the sap coming right out of the tree. Look at that. I mean, it is flowing out. Look at that. Okay, so that's our sap. And then he's going to take it, and he's going to apply it. They're going to take this, and they're going to apply it. Let's just put it on our skin and see what it feels like. I have no idea what's going to happen from that, but look at this, guys. It's just flowing so well down here. I'm standing here in front of a massive tree, the Kapi Nuri. You can see it's about 150 feet tall. I'm 5 foot 8. Get a little bit of perspective on the difference between me and this beautiful piece of creation. But what makes this tree very special to the people of the jungle is that it produces a sap, which is medicine. And this sap is provided to women to help bring on labor. We have our own versions of this in Western culture, but here in the jungle, they'll take a teaspoon of this, and a woman who's expecting a child and wants to bring labor along will take it, 1 spoonful, and the baby will come sooner. Kapi Nuri, the medicine of the jungle.
It's it seems like every couple of feet, we're finding